Today we are going to be talking about stinging nettle. It is a fabulous herb. Please keep in mind that this video was shot about 3 months ago before we moved into our new home, and the stinging nettle was in my old raised beds at my landlord's house. I'm hoping to find some stinging nettle here at the new house. If not, I will sure be on the lookout foraging for some stinging nettle. It is that priceless to me. Thank you for staying tuned. Let's go get stung by stinging nettle. I found some wonderful herbs that can be used that I found right in my own backyard. And I'm going to show you right now. The wonderful stinging nettle. Now, I happened to transplant this because my landlord said to me, you know what, it's time to weed whack. So I don't spray anything in my area. It is totally pesticide free, and it's been setting this way for probably the past 4 years. Not with weeds, but with no pesticides. So I happened to come across this wonderful plant right here, the stinging nettle. And I was like, you know what, I am so not gonna weed whack this guy. I'm gonna transplant him until I can find a better location for him. When handling herbs like stinging nettle, you've gotta always be careful, because if you look on the leaves, they have these little needle-like hairs on them that when you touch them the wrong way, they'll give you a little sting. The older it gets, the stronger you feel it. When they're young, they're a little more tender. Now, why in the world would I want to use stinging nettle? Stinging nettle has so many wonderful attributes. So I'm going to take you on a little further journey to further understand stinging nettle and come to appreciate it. Be extra careful. If you want to harvest it, be sure to wear some heavy-duty gloves or just expect a little bit of a zap, you know? Yeah, I love this little plant. I can't wait to tell you all the wonderful attributes stinging nettle has.
Okay, Klaus, now we will cover the uses of stinging nettle. You can use the leaves, the roots, and the stem. It is wonderful. Okay, so let's take a look at all the wonderful things that stinging nettle helps with. When using stinging nettle, you can use the roots, the leaves, or the stems. You can make teas, you can make tinctures. It helps with allergies, BPH, which is benign prostatic hyperplasia, joint pains like arthritis, urinary issues, eczema, and much, much more. Always do your research. When using stinging nettle, there are precautions to be aware of. Let's go over those now. Precautions. Keep in mind it stings. If you're on any kind of medication or supplements, keep in mind, stinging nettle enhances the effects. So for diabetes, blood thinners, diuretics, lithium, NSAIDs, and sedatives, be aware. If you're on the medication, it could make it work even more so, and you could need less, so it needs to be regulated. And last but not least, pregnancy. If you are pregnant, remember that the stinging nettle affects the menstrual cycle. It may cause a miscarriage. Be very, very cautious with that. And remember, this will be on the quiz. You know it will. Dr. P. what do you think of stinging nettle? You like it, yes.
So I'm going to show you my little spot where I found all these stinging nettles. They happen to be near my orange tree, but I looked over the fence to where my landlord's grapefruit tree is, and there was a plethora of stinging nettle. I did happen to take some of those too. So let's go. I'm going to show you. Come on. I happened to find my stinging nettle right in the back part of my yard. Look right there. There's still more growing. But let's take a look over the fence and make sure I don't step on anybody. And what do you know? Bam! Right there by the grapefruit tree. Look at all that nettle. What? Stinging nettle happens to transplant really well. This guy I did probably about, I'd say 4 days ago. And she is just thriving. This one I transplanted from over near the grapefruit tree. And it's already looking good. It's bouncing back. I gave it some great organic potting soil, and I think it's going to do just fine. It's going to look like this in a matter of a day or two. Keep in mind, anytime you're wildcrafting, you want to make sure that your herbs are coming from a clean source, a non-sprayed source, a pesticide-free zone, a contaminant zone, like you don't want to be harvesting from a gutter or the poopy abyss. Thank you for joining me today.